Today, we're going to talk about Trump's insistence that a president needs immunity even if he has his political opponent assassinated. And I interview Representative Jasmine Crockett, whose latest moment at the House Oversight Committee's Hunter Biden hearing went viral, about what Republicans are saying behind the scenes about their circus of a hearing, and her response to Hunter walking out on Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm Brian Tyler Cohen, and you're watching No Lie. You've heard by now that Trump's attorney was in court arguing that he needs full immunity as president, to which the judges on the D.C. appeals panel asked, okay, does that mean if a president tries to assassinate his political opponent that he can't be criminally prosecuted? And Trump's lawyer agreed, saying that he could only be prosecuted if he's impeached and convicted in a Senate trial, which, to be clear, is a made-up threshold. Like, that's not how it works. It's not enumerated in the Constitution. They just decided that out of whole cloth. And there are two things that stuck out at me here. Here's the first one. If Trump's attorneys are arguing that presidents can do quite literally anything they want, including having their political opponents assassinated with immunity, then why doesn't Joe Biden come out and announce that he's having Trump jailed, that he's having him deported, that he's declaring himself president for life? In this case, the more insane the suggestion, the better, because it'll put on full display the insanity of this idea that a president can do anything he wants with no recourse. I know the Trump team traffics pretty openly in hypocrisy, but man, what I would give to see them argue at literally the same time that Trump had full immunity to do whatever he wanted as president, but also that Joe Biden can't do whatever he wants with immunity as president. Now, the second thing that stuck out at me is the implications of a Trump presidency, knowing that he views that role as no less than a dictatorship. I mean, let's be honest, he's already broadcast that that's how he views the presidency. So even if the Supreme Court, for example, strikes this down, which clearly they should and they likely will, he would take office having already signaled that he views any victory as a mandate to act as a dictator. He wouldn't think that he's bound by the Constitution or criminal statutes or the law. So even beyond a court ruling, I hope regular people who, value the concept of democracy recognize the importance of not rewarding someone who has already shown us that he views the presidency as giving him a mandate to be a king. So at this point, it is crucial that we see a Supreme Court decision here quickly, because if and when the court rules that presidents do not have complete immunity to commit criminal acts in office, then his D.C. prosecution for undermining the 2020 election can continue. Already, it's likely that that case will be pushed back from its original March 4th, 2024 trial date, but depending on how quickly the Supreme Court rules, it may actually only have to be pushed back a few weeks, meaning we could still see a trial in March or April of 2024, which would last 4 to 6 weeks, then verdict, then hopefully conviction and sentencing. But ultimately, it was that delay that Trump was seeking. Look, Trump knows that this argument is insane. His lawyers know that this argument is insane. The judges know that this argument is insane. But everybody has to go through the motions here, knowing that this case takes time to adjudicate, meaning Trump gets a delay. And every extra day of delay that he gets puts him one step closer to avoiding prosecution until after the 2024 election, which is his ultimate goal. He's trying to win the election, and then he would use his powers as president to withdraw what will be his own DOJ from prosecuting him. And he would likely be successful if that happens. But while Trump is doing his level best to delay, there are lots of folks working to move this process forward. And that's to say nothing of the judge in this case, Judge Chutkan, the fact that she isn't messing around either. So all eyes remain on the Supreme Court. Hopefully that court doesn't mess around and rules quickly on a question that should be so simple. The fact that it hasn't been swatted down already is pretty sad. Next up is my interview with Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Why shouldn't Hunter Biden simply trust Republicans to be good faith actors when they say that they want him to testify in a closed deposition?
I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't have been laughing as you were asking that question.
No, that's the right response.
But as we're dealing with the clown show known as the House Republican majority, I don't think anybody should trust them. And that's not just Hunter Biden, but we know that this is all about politics. We know that everything that they're doing is basically some sort of marching order that comes straight from Donald Trump. And so anyone who would walk into the slaughter and say, hey, I'm here, and I had no idea that you were just coming to rip off my head, well, that's somebody who's completely uninformed. And so I think what Hunter has done is he's made it clear that he knows the type of games that these people will play, and he is not one to be played with.
Now, Hunter also walked out of the hearing room when it was Marjorie Taylor Greene's turn to talk, obviously not looking to give her an ounce of respect after she showed printouts of his dick pics. And she did it again during this latest hearing after he had left. The question, well, I guess this question is a first one for me with a member of Congress, but what's with the dick pic obsession?
I'm guessing she's not getting none at home. Honey, I don't know. I don't know why she is so curious about his and seemingly obsessed with his. I've not had these conversations with her, but I don't think that she was sent to Congress, nor were any of the rest of us sent to Congress so that we could play with nude photos
Yeah.
of political adversaries. As far as I'm concerned, the conversations that I have, not only with those that live in my district, but even some people that unfortunately live in her district, they want real solutions out of our federal government. And there are those of us that show up every single day looking to do the serious work. And then you have those who claim that, they don't want porn in our schools and our books. And so that's why they're taking books down. But, of course, in a committee room, absolutely all the porn you can stand.
Right, right. And the irony too about that is these people, when they were in the minority, they had campaigned so thoroughly on delivering solutions to the American people. I mean, they went on and on about gas prices and inflation, about how that was the only thing that they would focus on if they were able to retake the majority. Now that they have the majority, the only thing they've been able to accomplish is ousting speakers, ousting members, and showing revenge porn during committee.
Absolutely. I mean, right now, it's funny when they say the quiet part out loud. When you have a Chip Roy out of the state of Texas who's going on and on and on the House floor about what it is that they will or won't campaign on. And the fact is that they don't have anything to campaign on. This has been the most unproductive Congress that we've ever had in modern day history. And the idea that these people are going to be able to solve problems is just a joke.
Nancy Mace yelled that Hunter Biden showing up for a public testimony despite refusing to be railroaded into a private one was an example of his white privilege. Maybe I'm misunderstanding what white privilege is, but could I have your reaction to that claim by Nancy Mace?
Yeah, Nancy doesn't know what white privilege is either. I'm sure that she wills it around on most days, but clearly she doesn't have a full understanding. And for her to feel as if she was the one that should impugn someone else for white privilege was really one of those dumbfounding moments for me.
Yeah.
And I can't say, I won't sit here and say that because Hunter is a white man that he hasn't enjoyed white privilege. I'm sure that he has. But saying that that's the reason that he's ignoring their subpoena is absolutely not. And it's watering down what white privilege has done in this country, especially to people that look like me. And it's completely ignoring the fact that every single day we're dealing with questions, for instance, that I had to deal with from an elementary kid who was only in the second grade when I went home over this break, who came up to me, this little precious Black boy that said, "Do you believe that Black and white people will ever be treated the same?"
Yeah.
I about broke down in tears. And so, I think that even that baby has a better understanding of what white privilege looks like than Nancy Mace.
To watch the full interview with Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, click the thumbnail right here on the screen or check out the interviews playlist on my YouTube channel. You can also listen to the audio version of this episode by clicking that link on the screen. And finally, to see more of my content, the subscribe button's on the screen as well.